So I don't want to get too much in that. There's two plays I want to talk about though, which happened within a month of each other in 2014.
Okay.
So the first is wearing the baby blues with the t-shirts in Golden State. I think it's Matt Barnes, Chris Paul, Spencer Hawes, DeAndre Jordan. I'm shouting out all my guys, and you literally dribbled through them.
Oh, that was my. Yeah.
And Jeff Van Gundy on the broadcast is like, I think that's the best move I've ever seen.
That could be the greatest move I've ever seen.
It didn't make any sense because all those guys that are out there, they're like in one section of the court right at the top of the key, and then there's four of us like above the 3-point line. So just so much traffic, and Bogut swings it to, or I think Draymond swung it to me, and Bogut set like this weird screen, and you just go into autopilot. Like you have no, I know there was four people there, but you don't like every move I did was perfect, and it just came off, went between, behind, like CP tried to swipe at it, and I didn't even feel him. And to all that point, like you see, my favorite thing is Coach Kerr was trying to instill like discipline in our offense and always move it, get, good shot to great shot and the whole deal. So I do this whole move and they got the camera on him and he's like, as I'm turning around to shoot, because Clay's wide open on the right wing and the right play is to kick it to him, but I'm just in autopilot and I make it and he walks back to the bench. And actually Draymond's behind me and he's pointing at Clay, like pass it to him. So somebody sent me that clip afterwards, and when Jeff said that, I was crying, laughing on the way home. He said that might be
the greatest move I've ever seen. My two favorite plays, selfishly, the first one is the fact that I was on the court, but I was not one of the guys that you dribbled through. I was up in the corner guarding Harrison, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Second part of that was any rational human being, and I mean this sincerely, like any rational human being that would be willing to try a move like that and dribble through four people and then safely make it through that obstacle course with their back turned to the basket would pick the ball up. Thank God they didn't turn it over and move the ball. And you were willing to double down. You were willing to double down. And you mentioned creativity earlier, and I've said this about you. I mean this, like, as an observer, I have not seen a basketball player consistently get to a flow state better than you. Are there exercises you do? Is it your training? Like, how are you able to capture that? We talked about the look away shot. That's being in the flow state, right?
Yeah.
Not many people ever get to that. You get to that so consistently.
I mean, you got some proprietary information right now. I feel like most of it is.
I feel like Brandon Payne can give me this.
He's going to clip the hell out of this because I was where I was going. Because a part of the training, and anybody who's watched me train in the summers or how I approach even in season skill work and all that, like there's a level of obsession about the details when it comes to footwork, when it comes to balance, when it comes to how the ball's entering the bat, like the rim at the right angle, arc, and all that type of stuff. There's a legit, obsession around that. And I feel like that's been developed over the course of my life, but also, year 2 in the league where I really understood the unlock that can be there in terms of, one, it like you said, kind of being creative about how I can play, visualizing, stuff that maybe I've never done before, and then trying it in a skill session or practice or whatnot. That confidence that comes behind that is just, it's intoxicating. And then you get in the game and you kind of lose yourself in that. And then you go back to the drawing board and you keep doing that over and over and over again. And I'm in my 14th year and I'm still doing it. And so it's that old like cliche, like no shot I've tried in the game I haven't tried in practice before. It's pretty accurate. Like I might even have had 4 cones or 4 guys around to do that move, but I've done that dribble combination before.
Maybe you said the word autopilot, and I thought that was super interesting, where something like that appears to be spontaneous
for sure, and it's muscle memory, and it's you've gotten your body and your mind connected before in that regard, and then it comes out when the lights are bright. So, like you said, my guy B Payne's had a lot to do with that in terms of taking my work ethic and my willingness to, get in the gym and push the envelope, being creative with me on that front. Even now, got a guy called Bergstrom who's helped me work on my body and get strong, work on my core, all the things that can take my game to the next level at the biggest stages in the playoffs when things slow down and you get into that physical tug of war match out there. So it's always a continued reiteration, which is why I still feel like in my 14th year, I'm still getting better, still getting more efficient, and finding ways to improve, even though, history says you should be going the other way. So, I say flow state, and like just being in that flow is exactly, how it's where I want to be. And when you're in that, there's no better feeling.
As always, thank you for listening to the show. Please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Wondery, wherever you listen to your podcast. We appreciate you guys.